Hello everyone, welcome back to Literary Hurdles. Let's learn together. Illuminationsന്റെ എക്സാമിനുള്ള പ്രിപ്പറേഷൻസ് ഒക്കെ വളരെ നന്നായി നടക്കുന്നു എന്ന് വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. ഇന്ന് ലിറ്റററി ഹഡിൽസ് വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത് മെയ് 2022 നടന്ന ഇല്യൂമിനേഷൻസിൻ്റെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പർ ഡിസ്കഷനുമായിട്ടാണ്. ഇത്തവണയും പോസ്റ്റ് കോവിഡ് പാറ്റേൺ അനുസരിച്ച് തന്നെയാണ് എക്സാം എഴുതേണ്ടത്. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പർ ഡിസ്കഷനിലേക്ക് ഡയറക്റ്റ് കടക്കാം അല്ലേ. ആദ്യം നിങ്ങൾ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഏതൊക്കെയാണ് എന്നൊന്ന് നോക്കി വയ്ക്കുക. അതിനുശേഷം നമുക്ക് ഡിസ്കഷൻ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം. ഏതൊക്കെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ് എക്സാമിന് ചോദിച്ചത് എന്ന് മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ? എന്നാൽ ഇനി നമുക്ക് ആൻസർ കീ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാം. ഫസ്റ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഇതായിരുന്നു, ഹൗ ഡസ് ഹെലൻ കെല്ലർ വിഷ് ടു സ്പെൻഡ് ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഡേ ഓഫ് ഹർ സൈറ്റ്? ആൻസർ കീ വരുന്നത് ഇങ്ങനെയാണ്. ഹെലൻ കെല്ലർ വിഷ്ഡ് ടു സീ ദ പീപ്പിൾ ഹൂസ് കൈൻഡ്നസ്, ജെന്റിൽനെസ് ആൻഡ് കമ്പാനിയൻഷിപ്പ് ദാറ്റ് ഹാഡ് മെയ്ഡ് ഹർ ലൈഫ് വർത്ത് ലിവിംഗ്, എസ്പെഷ്യലി ഹർ ഡിയർ ടീച്ചർ മിസസ് ആൻ സലീവൻ. She wished to look into the faces of her dear friends and the innocent face of a baby. She wished to let her eyes rest upon the trusting eyes of her loyal dogs. She wanted to view the simple things of her home, like the warm colors in the rugs, the pictures on the walls, and the intimate trifles that had transformed her house into a home. She would let her eyes rest respectfully on the books she had read, and also on the printed books which seeing people read. She also wanted to take a long walk in the woods to experience the beauty of nature. She also wished to experience the delight of being able to see by artificial light at nightfall. Second question idana, how does New York City appear to Helen Keller? Idinte answer ki ingenaayirunnu. The New York City with its fantastic towers seemed to have stepped from the pages of a fairy story. It is an awe-inspiring sight with its glittering spheres and banks of stones and steel, resembling structures such as the gods might build for themselves. Question number 3 idana, how does the rich and the poor react when sterling exchange falls? Answer key, the poor would sit snugly at home and would not care a bit, but the rich undergo cruel trials and bitter tragedies. When an adverse balance of trade washes over the nation, the rich have to mop it up, and the poor would just sit at home and laugh at 10-cent moving picture show. Question number 4. What name is used in the essay on courage to refer to Benjamin Disraeli? The name Dizzy is used in the essay on courage to refer to Benjamin Disraeli. Question number 5. How far was Sir John Lubbock and his followers' experiment regarding list successful according to Hahn? Answer key idana. Mr. John Lubbock wrote a list of the best 100 books in the world. Other literary men followed his example and compiled different lists of what they thought the best 100 books in existence. But they have proved utterly worthless except to the publishers. Though many bought those books, very few read them. Hahn concludes that no one man can lay down a definite course of reading for the great mass of differently constituted minds. Question number 6. What did the nightingale sing when the thorn pierced his heart? Answer key idana. As the nightingale pressed closer against the thorn, it pierced her heart, and a fierce pang of pain shot through her. The pain was bitter, and her song grew wilder. She sang wildly of the love that is perfected by death, of the love that dies not in the tomb. അടുത്തത് question number 7. What did the narrator do soon after he left the Auberg? Answer key. He went to bed and slept the clock round, all but 1 hour. He washed his teeth for the first time in a fortnight, bathed and had his hair cut and got his clothes out of pawn. Question number 8. Does Mr. Jussler take customer feedback seriously? Answer key. Yes. Once the author made a complaint about a pair of town walking boots that creaked to the shoemaker. Mr. Jussler took it very much seriously, though he seemed hot. He asked the author to send them back and offered to repair them. Question number 9. What caused Mr. Jussler's downfall in the shoemaking business? Answer key. Mr. Jussler, a perfectionist, made boots out of the best quality leather, but he was a failure as a competent businessman. He did not invest on the advertisement like the big firms. Question number 10. Why did D wanted the quills? Answer key. D wanted the quills that were had stitched from the pieces of the dresses that her grandma used to wear. She wanted to perceive them by hanging them on the walls of her house. Question number 11. What does the knight signify in the first line of the poem Invictus? Answer key. Knight symbolizes hardships, sufferings, and the pain the poet had to endure in his life. The poem was written during his isolation as a consequence of tuberculosis. The term is also symbolic of the dark times and the helplessness of the poet. Question number 12. What happens to the boat when it loses its rudder? Answer key. The boat wanders aimlessly among the perilous isles when it loses its rudder. Yet the boat may not sink to the bottom of the sea. ഇനി പാർട്ട് ബി ആണ്. Answer any 6 questions. Each question carries 5 marks. Question number 13. What is special about Metropolitan Museum of Art? Metropolitan Museum of Art showcases the myriad facets of human spirit. The vast chambers of the museum unfold the spirit of Egypt, Greece, and Rome as expressed in their art. The sculptured gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt, the beauty of charging Athenian warriors, the marble sculptures of Parthenon, Apollos, Venus, and Homers are among the exhibits in the museum. It showcases the magnificent world of paintings from Italian primitives to moderns, especially the canvases of Raphael, Da Vinci, Titan, and Rembrandt. Metropolitan Museum contains the key to beauty that unlocks the greatest treasures in the shortest time. Next, question number 14. Make a character sketch of Jussler. Answer key. Jussler was a German long jumper who won the silver medal in the Berlin Olympics. He was tall with a lean, muscular frame, clear blue eyes, blonde hair, and a strikingly handsome, chiseled face. When Owens failed in his first 2 trial jumps, Long approached him and asked Owens to draw a line a few inches behind the board and take off from there. Owens did likewise, got into the finals and won the gold. Jussler belonged to the Aryan race and Owens was an African American. In spite of Hitler's presence in the stadium, Jussler was the first to congratulate him. Owens describes him as the epitome of sportsmanship and friendship. Question number 15. Who were Mr. and Mrs. Fowlers? Answer key. Mr. and Mrs. Ashcroft Fowlers are very rich people who live luxuriously. They are sad that their butler Meadows doesn't like them and has decided to leave them. They cite it as a sheer case of incompatibility. Franklin, another servant, left them an year ago for the same reason. After Meadows left, the Ashcroft Fowlers give up in despair, rented a little suite of 10 rooms and 4 baths in a grand Palvar hotel and lived there for the winter. Question number 16. What did the sailor do when he got selected through ballot? Answer key. The sailor had won a place in one of the boats by ballot. The boat would take him to the shore and safety. He feels a passion for life surging within him. He sees the cold, dark sea waiting to swallow its hapless victims. He looked at the old comrades who have lost in the ballot and were doomed to death. He had a choice to make. He thought about the pain their death would cause their parents. He makes a bold and triumphant choice and exchanges his place in the boat with one of his comrades, telling him that he did not have parents. Thus he signs his own death warrant in a simple but heroic act. Question number 17. Why did Adichie leave medical school? Answer key. Adichie's parents expected her to be a doctor as she was a good student, but Adichie always wanted to be a writer. She joined medical school to fulfill her parents' wishes. She thought that she could become a psychiatrist and use her patients' stories for her fiction. Realizing that she would be a very unhappy doctor, she left medical school after a year. It was an unusual decision, but she did not want to be the reason for inadvertent death of her parents. Question number 18. Who are the Nightingale's friends? What are their opinions on the student's lament? Answer key. Green Lizard, Butterfly, Daisy were Nightingale's friends. They laughed at the student when they heard he was crying for a red rose. They found it rather ridiculous. Question number 19. Describe the reactions of Rockall and the Pole after their release. Answer key. Rockall and the Pole were released, entirely exonerated, but very angry that the Jew had double-crossed them. The Pole was glad enough to escape, though he had lost his 4,000 francs. But old Rockall was utterly broken down. He took his bed at once, and all the day and half the night he could be heard thrashing about, mumbling and yelling out at the top of his voice in frustration. 3 days later, he died of a broken heart. Question number 20. Why does Mama give quilt to Maggie, and why is Dee unsatisfied about the decision? Answer key. Dee wants to preserve the quilts by hanging them on the walls of her city home. She wanted to keep them as a relic and parade them before the visitors to her home. She is worried that Maggie would be unappreciative of the heritage value of her grandma's quilt. Maggie will put them to everyday use and spoil them. But Mama gives the quilt to Maggie, as she thinks the family's heritage will stay alive through Maggie, when she would put the quilts to everyday use and make her own when they will eventually wear out. Question number 21. Is the poet uncertain about his choice in the poem The Road Not Taken? Why? Answer key. The speaker is at a forest in the road and feels very sorry that he cannot travel both. He chooses the second path but hopes to come back and try the other path some other day. Yet he does not think he will be ever do so, as he knows that one path leads to another and it will be difficult to come back. He has made a choice, and this choice has made all the difference. Next we are moving to part C. Answer any 2 questions, each carries 15 marks. Part C ke voice over kodukunnilla. You can include your own points and also you can refer these points.